We are going to do the next topic, which is escape velocity. So you throw an object in air and it comes back, right? So can we throw an object with such initial speeds that it does not fall back to the earth? Yes, it is possible. And that minimum speed which is required for an object to escape from the earth, that minimum speed is escape speed. Okay. And some of the time we also call escape speed as escape velocity also, but escape speed is more appropriate. Now let us find this escape speed. Students, gravitation is one of the easiest chapter. Okay, so but you have to do the derivations and concepts with your own hands. Okay, so once you will do it, you won't find anything difficult. And this chapter is on the other side. This is one of the most important chapters because this same concept is linked with the 12th class electrostatic potential energy and electrostatic potential and electrostatic potential field. So here we have gravitational field, and there we will have a electric field. So students, a lot of concepts are similar. So give time to this chapter. Do the derivations yourself, do the concept yourself, read from the NCERT. If there is any doubt, please ask it to me. The total energy, now let us start so this is the derivation, how we will be finding what is the minimum velocity that is required. So initial velocity, minimum. This is what we are going to find. Okay. Now the total energy of the projectile whose mass is m at infinity. So at infinity means at a far distance, the project is over here. So what will the energy? So this object will be carrying, suppose, some potential energy plus kinetic energy, right? So this is the potential energy and this is the kinetic energy. Suppose it is moving up with velocity. This is the final velocity Vf. So its kinetic energy will be half mv square, and the velocity there is so Vf is the speed of the projectile at infinity, and W1 is the potential energy at infinity. So this is the energy at infinity. Okay, so this energy is a function of this, like infinity, so it will be different at different places, of course. And if we consider that the potential energy is conserved, so this energy over here will be the same as energy over at any other place also, because for conservative force like gravitational force, mechanical energy is conserved. For conservative force, so we know that mechanical energy is conserved for conservative force, and your gravitational force is the conservative force here. So the potential energy at a distance r, so this was at infinity, this distance was infinity. Now at this distance r, so this is the distance r from the center of the earth we are taking. We have done this formula yesterday, that potential energy at a distance r, so definitely your g is changing in this case. Okay, so we did two cases. In one, height h, which is very near to the earth, so there we were assuming that the g is not changing in that range, but anywhere you are taking, so r is any distance, so any arbitrary distance, so g is not taking constant, so g is varying. Okay, its value is changing. So this is the potential energy at any distance r. So now if the object was thrown initially with a speed vi from a point which is at a distance h plus re from the center of the earth, okay, So this is the height h. Suppose this height I have projected. So this distance is h, this small distance. This is your h, and this is your this distance from the center. This is re. So this total is h plus re, right? And we have launched a projectile from here. Okay. So what was its energy initially? So the velocity with which it is launched is vi. So vi is the initial velocity. So this is our target, vi minimum we are supposed to find. So that energy at now, and it has reached this height when it was launched, and it is. So what is the initial energy over here at this point when it was launched with velocity vi from the distance h plus re from the earth? So this formula we will be taking for potential energy. So kinetic energy is equals to half mv square minus this minus this much. So this gmme upon what's the distance r? So r is h plus re and plus w1. Okay. Now this is equation 1. This is equation 2. Okay. So by the principle of energy conservation, so these equation 1 and 2 must be equal. I have discussed that Fg is conservative force and mechanical energy is conserved in this case. So this is equal to this. Okay. So you know that this is mv square. So mass is positive, v square is also positive. So this quantity is positive. Okay, and its minimum value can be 0. Okay, when vi is vf is 0, okay, then this value becomes 0. So this LHS must also be greater than equal to 0. Okay, so so what is the minimum value of vi? That's our target. So minimum value of vi will be when this will be equals to 0. Okay, so that will be the minimum value of vi. So making this as 0. So what do you get? Making this as 0 and bringing this on this side, so you'll get this equation. Okay. So taking the minimum value of vi will be the, see, the rest of the things are constant. Everything is constant. Only thing which is variable is vi. So if you vary the value of vi, so you will find a minimum value when this whole will be equals to 0. Okay. So the minimum speed required for an object to reach infinity, that corresponds to the minimum that velocity is this. Okay. So this negative comes this side. And now this vi is equals to, you solve it, and will cancel out. This 2 will go that side, 2g mg upon re. So that's the minimum velocity. So if an object is thrown from the surface of earth, now we are further taking h is equals to 0. So on the surface of earth, h is equals to 0. So this h will also be moved. So we get this. And now we know that the value of g is this. So putting the value of gmg over here. So gmg upon rg. So g is equals to gme upon re into 1 upon re, right? Re square. So this re will go to that side. Okay. So gme upon re is equals to re into g. So put this formula, re into g, at removing this. So re g into re. So that's my minimum velocity. Now put the value of g and re. So g 9.8 and re radius of earth. Put these two values and you will get the escape speed. That is the minimum speed required to escape the earth. Okay, so that's 11.2. Okay, any problems, students?
Sir, YH is equal to 0.
Why h is equals to 0? That's a good question. So from where do we launch the satellites? We launch the satellite from the Earth, right? And the whole is this. And this H, even if you are launching it from like 1 kilometer, still H is very, very less than RE. Still H will considered as a 0 as compared to RE, because so H plus RE, this is a very important question. H plus RE, and H is, I discussed it earlier also, H is very, very less than RE. So RE is around 10 raised to power 6 meters. So around something. What is the value of RE? I told you. What is the value of RE? So exact value of RE is 6.37 into 10 raised to power 6. Okay. 6.37 into 10 raised to power 6. So XC70 kilometer. That is the radius of Earth. So at which height you are going to launch it? Normally, like Delhi is at a height of around, suppose 200 meter from the sea level. Okay. So 200 meter, if you're launching it, 200 meter is, even if you are adding 200 meter to it, it will become 0.2 kilometer. So that's negligible. So H is when one quantity is very, very less than other, so we approximately write it equals to RE. Okay.
और सर ये जो लास्ट में V आया ये क्या है?
What is this V? This is what, this is the minimum velocity. Vi is the initial velocity. I is for initial, and V is not for velocity, speed. Okay, we call it velocity if it is going in the same direction. That speed, initial speed with which a projectile is launched. So this is my Earth, and I have a satellite. We launch satellite, and now this is the velocity when this satellite is launched. That's velocity is Vi, and the velocity should be, greater than 11.2. If you want it to escape, if you want to go to the moon or to the Mars, then the minimum velocity must be 11.2 kilometer per second. If it is 11 kilometer per second, it will go up and then fall back to Earth. If it is 11.2, 11.4 kilometer per second, then it will go and go outside the gravitational pull of the Earth, and it will go into the space. So this is the minimum velocity that is required is 11.2. So the velocity must be greater than 11.2. It can be 11.4, it can be 12 kilometer per second. Okay. This is very simple derivation. This is the energy, the total energy of the body, mechanical energy plus potential energy at infinity. This is the energy at any point, means at a distance when you have launched it at that particular point. So that's the initial, you can say, and that's sort of final means at the last. So just like we do that, the initial mechanical energy is equals to final mechanical energy. This is what we have done, initial, final, and both are same, isn't it? Energy is conserved, mechanical energy in case of conservative force. So making these two equal, and after making these two equal, W1 will of course cancel out on both sides, and we are left with these two terms and this Vi. and this is what this value, this is constant, so this is positive, or minimum value can be 0. So this term is always greater than equal to 0. So putting the different values of vi, so definitely this will be positive, but a certain value of vi will come, this expression, when this value will become, when this whole expression will become a 0. So start on putting different. So the minimum value of vi will come when this whole expression will become a 0, and less than 0, if this value becomes, if you put lower than vi, values lower than vi, then this expression will be less than 0, and it is not satisfying this equation. It will not satisfy this equation also, so that's not our solution. Okay, so solutions are of this equation are vi minimum this value. Okay, Randhir, switch off your mic. So the minimum value, this. So same, see, this is one of the way how we do in physics. We take the minimum or maximum values. Okay, so the variables, we look at the variable and this equation. Now, so treating it as 0, because we want to find the minimum value. And see, of course, if you need to find the minimum value, because more value you need to require more fuel. Why do you need to require more vi when the minimum energy, minimum escape speed we find? So this is the minimum. So this go this side, and we simply calculate. So it's so simple. Energy at infinity, energy at initial speed, equating both of them and taking this is definitely positive and greater than 0. So this term is positive and greater than 0. We need vi, and this is equals to 0 for the minimum. So we are writing minimum, and this equals to this, and this cancelling out and solving it. Vi equals to this, and putting the value of g, we get this, and putting the value of r and g and re, we get the minimum escape speed. Okay, now the next question, example 8.4. Two solid uniform solid spheres, uniform means uniform density, and their shape is also regular. Of course, they are spheres of equal radius, radii r, but the mass, so this has mass m and this has mass 4m, and they have the center to center distance. This center to center distance is 6r. The two spheres are held fixed, and a projectile of mass m is projected from the surface of the sphere of this. So it was, so here I have a small mass m at this point, okay, on this sphere, and it is launched in this direction. Okay, so projectile of mass m is projected from the surface of sphere of mass m directly towards the center of the second sphere. Obtain the expression for the minimum speed v of the projectile so that it reaches the surface of the second sphere. So this is just like, you know, a model. Like suppose this is your earth, and you are sending it this some other planet, so you are launching it, and so it will go back into the gravitational pull of this sphere, but what is the escape velocity, right? The minimum speed here is what is the escape velocity we are supposed to find here, so that it so what is the minimum speed required? So here we have taken this neutral point where there is no where see, two forces are acting on this mass, and suppose mass is over here. So this is pulling it over here, and due to the gravitational pull of this, it is pulling over here. See, even on Earth, when moon comes near to the Earth on that side of the Earth, the oceans, we have high tides. So even moon is pulling the water, you know, ocean water. See, and then when moon go away, and then this water again goes down. So tied up and tied down. So due to the gravitational pull of the moon. So definitely at all the points we have the pull due to moon also, but the pull due to earth is more. So that is why this radius, so it will come back, it will fall back this. But but there will be a velocity, and greater than that minimum velocity, it will go away. But we also don't want this mass to go into the gravitational field of this. So we want it at the neutral point where both the forces are equal. So this is the neutral point where the force due to this and force due to this are equal. So that's very simple thing. So I have mass over here, I have mass over here, and this is the projectile that I have launched from here, and it is moving in this direction, and it has reached here. So this is the position. So this is mass m, this is capital M, this is 4m, and this distance is, let this distance be small r, this neutral point, okay? And so what will be this distance? This distance is total 6r. So 6r, and see, this 6r is from the centers. Don't forget it, okay? So this is this distance r is also from the center, not from this point. So this distance r, this neutral point, is also from the center, and this the center distance is 6 capital R. So what is this distance? So this distance will be 6r minus r. So students, always remember your mass is over here, and we write the distance from the center. Here also distance from the center. So that distance is 6r minus r. So here neutral point, both the gravitational pull by both the masses will be same. So neutral position, equilibrium position. So that's the neutral point. Means both the forces are. So it may not be the equilibrium point, and this is the difference between the neutral point here. So it is moving in this direction. It might pass this point, okay, neutral point, and one is equilibrium point. So we will have 2 points. See, the points are same, but the only difference is that in equilibrium it will be in the same state, but well, passing through this neutral point means might be the object will not at rest. So the neutral point just means not equilibrium. Neutral point means when both the forces are equal, cancelling out each other. So there is no net gravitational force at this point. That is the neutral point. Okay. So neutral point is defined as the position where the two forces cancel each other exactly. So this is your point O. So this is ON. ON is equals to R, and this is NC. So NC is equals to 6R minus R. So what is the gravitational pull due to this mass? GMM upon R square, and from this GM. M. What is M? Small m is okay. What is capital M? 4m. So G into 4m into small mass of the projectile divided by the distance. So this distance between the projectile and the center of the bigger sphere is 6r minus r. So 6r minus r square. So it is so simple, right? Now this G will cancel out. This capital M will cancel out. This small m will cancel out. And this will go to this side, and this r square will this side. So we get this, and we calculate the value. So we get 2 values of GR. So there will be 2 neutral points. Of course, there will be 2 neutral points. One will be this minus 6r, and another will be at 2r. So this is 6r. So it means this distance is, so we are taking this as origin. So there will be one more point, which is at distance minus 6r. So here also the gravitational pull due to this mass and gravitational pull due to 4m will be same, because here gravitational pull due to this is more and this will be less. But as you move away at this point, gravitational pull due to both of them will be same. So that's the neutral point again you will get here. But I'm concerned with only this 2r, which is between these two. Okay. So students, same we will be doing in electric field also, okay, in 12th class. So neutral point, this does not concern this example, so we are concerned with On is equals to 2r. So it is sufficient to project the particle with the speed which will enable it to reach n. So therefore, the gravitational pull of 4m would be suffice. After this, because we want it, we want the minimum speed of the projectile so that it reaches the surface of second sphere. Okay, so it is not going to stop over here. My particle, it will keep on moving. So once it reaches here, once it reaches n and it surpasses n. So as it reaches beyond n at this point, so then it will start this sphere will start pulling this projectile. Okay, so beyond n, the gravitational pull of 4m will be greater. So on this side of n, gravitational pull of 4m is greater. On this side of n, gravitational pull of m is greater. We want it to escape from m. So beyond n, then gravitational pull of 4m will be suffice, and the mechanical energy at the surface of m. So what will the mechanical energy when it was at the surface, when it was launched from here? So when the projectile was launched from the surface of this mass m, so its velocity was v. So kinetic energy plus this potential energy. Okay, so kinetic energy is half mv square, and the potential energy, so due to the gravitational pull of this, so gmm upon r, we know the formula, v is equals to gm minus gmm upon r. That is the gravitational potential energy formula we did yesterday. And if m is equals to 1, then, isn't it, we did the so these are the two masses. This is small m, suppose this is capital M. So this is the potential energy between these two between these two masses of this system, right? That's the formula we did yesterday. And if m is equals to 1, if one of the mass is m, 1 kg, okay, then this name is, so this is gravitational potential energy, okay, this formula. And energy word will be removed. Gravitational potential at point. At this point, wherever you want to find the gravitational potential, put 1 kg mass over there. Okay. So I want to find the gravitational potential at this point. So put 1 kg mass over here. And gmm into 1 upon r minus gmm upon r. This, so that's equals to gm upon minus gm upon r. So that is the gravitational potential at this point where you have placed 1 kg mass. And this is the gravitational potential energy of the system. So we have two systems over here. One is this small sphere with mass m and this projectile m, and another is this. Okay. So another system is this mass m, so, and 4m, right? So so this is the potential energy between m, and this is the potential between m and 4m. Okay. So this is the formula we have used here for the gravitational potential energy. So at neutral point n, the speed approaches 0, and the mechanical energy at n is purely potential. So speed will be 0, approaching to 0 at this point, and we assume that the speed will be 0. So that will be the minimum velocity, isn't it? Because it is just reaching at this point. So what the velocity will be getting? So the velocity will be getting, it will be minimum, right? This is the condition. So this condition, the velocity is minimum. Okay. So what is the mechanical energy at En? So En, there will be no kinetic energy. So simply, now here the distance was at this point, when we were calculating the energy, your mass was over here, and this was your another sphere. So what are the distance? This distance was your r, and this distance total 6r, and this distance will be was 5r, right? So we have written r and 5r. But once the object will reach in the middle, sorry, at n neutral position, so what will be this distance? We have just calculated this distance is 2r, and this is so this distance is 2r. So instead of r, this is 2r at n. And how much will this distance left? So this distance left will be 4r, right? So 4r and 2r. So this is for this diagram, and this for this diagram. Okay, students. So, and writing the potential energy of two mass system. So this is one two mass system, and this another two mass system. So adding potential energy is a scalar quantity. You can add it directly. Okay. So now principle of same as we did in the derivation of escape speed. So these two, the energy at here, the energy possessed by this projectile over here, and the energy possessed by the projectile over here when it was launched with velocity vi. So or v only you can write. So why we are not taking vi and vf? Because here the final is 0, so we are not giving any name to this velocity. Okay, so initial velocity is v. So the mechanical energy of the particle when it was at velocity v, initial velocity, and when it reaches at n with final velocity 0, so means these two energies are same, so equating this and this. So the common things will cancel out, like your m small m is there in all the four. You can see here, 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 and here, and here when you will be equating this. So m was here, 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 and here. So it was cancelled out from all four, and okay. And you will get this, and further solving this, you get the this velocity. So this is the minimum speed of the projectile, so that it reaches the, so that it escapes the gravitational pull of this mass and reaches it over here. Okay, students, any doubt in it? Earth satellite. So we have just discussed that Earth satellites are the objects which revolve. So they are not escaped from the Earth, but they remain revolving around the Earth. Okay. So let us consider a satellite in a circular orbit. So which is at a distance. So we have a satellite. So this is our Earth, and we have a satellite at a height h, and this satellite is of course revolving around the Earth like this. Okay, at height h, and this is my radius of Earth. Okay, so this satellite is at a distance re plus h from the center of the Earth. So this distance is this total distance. This is your satellite. Okay, and the mass of this satellite is m, and its speed is v. Okay, so what is the centripetal force? So this is revolving due to the gravitational pull of the Earth. Okay, so we know that the centripetal acceleration is given by v square by r. So that's the centripetal acceleration. And what is the centripetal force? Centripetal force will be mass into centripetal acceleration, that is mass into v square by r. Okay, so this is the centripetal acceleration. So mv square by r. So r is how much? This distance. This is re plus h. So this distance is the path of the satellite. This is re plus h. Okay, so that's the centripetal force. And what is the direction of the centripetal force? So here suppose the projectile is over here. So the direction of velocity is this. Direction of this tangential velocity, and the acceleration is radial acceleration. So that's the radial acceleration, and the force is also radial. Okay, and the angle between them is 90 degree. Okay, So the centripetal force is towards the center. Students, whenever we have circular motion, we have centripetal force, but centripetal force is not a particular force. It's a general name, center seeking force. Central seeking force is the name centripetal force, but who is providing that centripetal force? So like when when a car was turning around, frictional force was providing you the centripetal force. And when there is a wire, when there is a string, you have a ball, and this is it is attached with a string, then the tension of the wire was providing you the centripetal force. Here friction was providing you the centripetal force. And here, so there will be someone who is providing you the centripetal force, like in atom, electrons are revolving around the sun, sorry, electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So who is providing the this centripetal force here? So it is the nucleus is positive, electron is negative, so that's the electrostatic force, electric force here is providing you the centripetal force. So there will be some force, some particular force, which will be the centripetal force. Okay, so this centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force. So F gravitation is equals to so gravitational force is given by gmm upon r square. So that's a formula for the gravitational force between the two masses. So here this is g, okay, this m is the mass of the projectile, okay, this is the mass of the earth, okay, and what's the distance between both of them? Distance between both of them is re plus h. So this is the centripetal force, this is the gravitational force. Of course this centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force, so both of them are equal. Okay, so this we did in chapter number 5 also. Wherever we have centripetal force, so if this is frictional force, so that will be equal, so tension force, that will be equal, electric force, that will be equal. So students, this is what we do all the time in physics. We find the we write one formula with the centripetal force and one formula with that particular force which is providing that centripetal, and make both of them are of course same, and both of them are, so we equate them. And so here also this small m will cancel out, and we get this v square as this. Okay, now this v, this velocity, you see that this is inversely proportional to h. So if you increase h, this v will decrease. So we need at more height, if we are taking this projectile to more height, less velocity will be there. Okay, so at h is equals to 0, so from this equation, if we find the value of, when we put h is equals to 0, what will the value of v square? So at h is equals to 0, the value of v square will be gm upon re, and again putting the value of g, that is gm upon re square. So and gm upon re is gre, we did it earlier also today, right? So putting this value of gm upon re equals to gre. So we get the value of v square as this gre. Okay, so in every orbit, the satellite, now this thing is over. We have found this velocity at a particular height, this relation. Now what we are going to do, we are going to find the time period, because this is every time we do this, students, whenever we have a circular motion and we have this uniform circular motion with constant speed, so we always find the time period of the revolution. Okay, so time period of one revolution. So what is the time period? So this is what we are going to find. Okay, so time period is total distance covered divided by what is distance? Distance is equals to speed into time. So what is time? Time is equals to distance upon speed. So this is the distance. Distance is your one circumference. So circumference is 2 pi r. So 2 pi, and what is r? R is re plus h. So 2 pi r divided by this. So 2 pi r divided by this velocity v. So you will get the time period for one revolution. And put this value of v from here. Okay. So gm upon re plus h. So student, not this value, because here we have to consider g as 0. Okay, this value 8.35, this equation, this value of v square you need to put over here. So v is equals to, from here we get v is equals to under the root g me upon re plus h. Okay. So now multiplying this means dividing this with 2 pi re plus h. So of course this re plus h will go upside. So this is 1 and its power is 1 by 2. So 1 plus 1 by 2 is 3 by 2. So that's why I have 3 by 2. See, students, you can read simultaneously, you can listen to me, and you can simultaneously looking in your NCERT books also, because this is the same thing that I have from the NCERT. Word by word is from the NCERT. Okay, I'm just explaining so that you will be able to understand the NCERT. Everything is written in your NCERT. Okay, so doing this calculation, so this will remain in the numerator under root gme, and this is what you get here over here. So this is the time period of one revolution. Okay, now to remove this root, I have squared both sides. So you will get this t square as, so squaring both sides, t square is equals to this, and you see that this is the Kepler's law of periods, that this is constant k. So t square is equals to this re plus h whole cube. So what is this constant k here? So constant k is 4 pi square upon gme. This is what you get here after squaring. You will get this quantity over here, 4 pi square upon gme, and all four of them are constant. So I'm writing k for the constant, just to tell you that t square is directly proportional to re plus h square. Okay, so that's the sorry, this not square, this is a cube, re plus h cube. So t square is directly proportional to the distance between the, t is the time period of one revolution, and this is the distance between from the center of earth to the center of earth of the satellite or planet, right? So distance between the centers is re plus h. So here the distance between the satellite and the center of the earth is re plus h. So this is same as Kepler's law of periods, okay, for the motion of satellites around the earth. So for a satellite very close to the surface of earth h, then you know that h will be very less than re, and h can be neglected. So for that, re plus h will approximately be equals to re. Okay, so re plus h can be written as equal to re. So r plus h I have written as re. So, and for such satellite means which are means for which h is neglected as compared to the radius of the earth, so we, for such satellites, we write t as t naught. So t as t naught is equals to, we get 2 pi under the root. So look here, 2 pi, and this h will be so this is re raised to the power 3 by 2, and then again using this value of g, again using this value of acceleration due to gravity, this formula. So here we have used this formula, g is equals to gm upon re square. This formula we have used, and then from here we get this t naught, and putting these values we get t naught is equals to this. So that comes out to be 85 minutes. So that is the time. So satellite will be at the same place within 85 minutes. So in 85 minutes this satellite takes one round, and this is the velocity of the satellite.